I want to talk about photography for a minute. Not camera gear, not settings, not how-to videos, just what photography means to me. Because the way I approach photography is tied really closely to how I approach life. I've never been drawn to posed or staged photos. I don't love telling people where to stand. I don't love fake smiles and forced moments. I don't love trying to manufacture something that didn't actually happen. What I've always cared about is capturing life as it's happening. The real stuff, the unplanned stuff. The moments that exist for a split second and then they're gone. Photography came into my life quietly. It wasn't a career plan. It wasn't something I set out to turn into a job. It was something that slowed me down at a time when my life was very structured and very busy and very responsibility driven. At a time when everything felt like it needed to be efficient and productive, photography gave me permission to pause, to look around and to notice things. What I love about photography is that it demands presence. You can't multitask behind a camera. You're either paying attention or the moment passes and it's gone. There's no rewind. There's no recreating it. And that honesty has always mattered to me. The moments I care most about aren't the perfect ones. They're the in-between ones. The look someone gives before they realize they're being photographed, the reaction right after something meaningful happens, the emotion that shows up before anyone has time to pose for it. Those moments are raw, they're imperfect, and they're real. And they make for the best pictures. And years later, they're still the ones that mean something. For me, photography has never been about how moments look. It's always been about how it felt. When I look back at a photo I love, I don't think about the camera or the settings. I remember the room, the scene, the people, the energy. What was happening right before and right after that moment. That's what I want my images to carry. That's why I'm drawn to documenting life instead of staging it. Real moments don't announce themselves. They don't clean themselves up. They don't wait for you to be ready. They don't care if the light is perfect. They just happen. And if you're paying attention, you get to keep them. Over time, people trusted me with moments that mattered to them. Events, milestones, family moments, work that carried some weight. That trust still means everything to me, because when someone lets you document their life, they're not asking for something pretty. They're asking you to tell the truth. Photography also changed how I move through my own life. It taught me to slow down instead of rush, to watch instead of react, to notice what's happening in a room instead of just the obvious action. That way of seeing has bled into everything else I do, how I lead, how I parent, how I show up at work, how I listen. A lot of what this channel is going to be about, is finding meaning in the everyday. Photography is one of the main ways I do that. It reminds me that ordinary moments, the quiet ones, are usually the ones worth remembering. A conversation in the hallway, a kid concentrating on something, a moment of pride, or nerves, or relief. Those moments don't go viral, but they last. I think we live in a time where everything feels performative. Moments are staged for the camera, experiences are curated for likes. And I don't blame people for that, it's just the world we live in, but it's never been what I'm drawn to. I don't want photos that feel like a performance or over-edited. I want photos that feel like life. When I'm photographing something, my goal isn't to make it impressive. My goal is to make it honest, to capture the emotion before it gets covered up, to freeze something real before it disappears. That philosophy carries into everything else I do, into my work, my family, leadership, storytelling. I'm not chasing perfection. I'm chasing presence. So when you see photography show up on this channel, it's not about showing off work. My work is for me. It's about honoring moments. It's about capturing emotion and meaning while it's still alive. I don't want perfect photos. I want photos that still matter years later. Photos that remind you how something felt, not just what it looked like. That's what photography is to me. That's why I care about it. That's why it shows up so naturally in my life and in this channel. This is real life. It's unposed, it's unscripted, it's full of small moments that add up to something meaningful. This is Forward Focus.